Ezekiel chapter 28 from verse 12 to 18. It talks about Lucifer. And then Isaiah chapter 14 from verse 11 to verse 15. Isaiah chapter 14 from verse 11 to 15. It talks about the anointed cherub who's Lucifer, or Hillel in Hebrew. Lucifer is Latin.
That is a bit divergent from music education, but it's still an education. Great. Any other questions from the audience? Do we have questions in the audience? Yes, Mwalimu Mwawira here, Mwalimu Obaga there, and the gentleman in that order.
Okay, Gibson, she's not well. In the minute people are practicing music. Now, mine is music because I think the discourse that I'm here is also missing, bringing the creative techniques. Industry as more broader than just the product itself, the music. Yes, the product of just on the writer and the performer. But apart from those two people, there are of other careers that go around. Like I'm just admiring the lighting up there. That becomes an essence of performance that is very important. That you cannot sometimes, if you want to move in that direction, you would need a lot of, education, a lot of study. Sound engineering, for example, that would also be an essence or an area that you'd feel like you would want. So those are the areas that I feel we've not really captured so much. In even management, she's not necessarily need to be a musician or a performing artist or songwriter to get into law. And that's why I would say, maybe as a comment, actually, I'm giving a comment, is the relevance of the training and teaching to what the industry requires. Also, as a practice, for you to fit into that globe, because we are all shrinking into you really need to practice it. You need in-depth of practicing. We can just song taught that, but reviewing percussion, actually, they're doing they're examining percussion, acoustic guitar, and before the acoustic guitar for the examination. So being relevant to what is in the market, and also knowing when and what to offer. It doesn't matter whether I'm a Christian, I decide I'm just offering Christian, whether I'm offering classical, whether I'm offering pop, but I think the two, the teaching and the learning should be in tandem. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Thank you. But if I can ask the question that Mawira should have asked the panel, is if the music education should be relevant to what the industry requires, how do we grow the industry if all we are teaching is what is required? Right? Just think about that. That was Mawira's question, not mine. Mwalimu Obaga. And if we can, for the time being, keep the questions very short and to the point so that we can get as many questions in as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Andrew Obaga, a lecturer at Technical University. Previously, music teacher for many years at Nairobi School. I want to encourage those up musicians that it is very important to have knowledge. Theory is the gateway to practical. A blind path be mapped up. Why I say this is because I grew up in a traditional house where my dad was an obokano player, and that is a family that was over generations the traditional anchor of the Kisi music, the community from where I come. And I came to open up my eyes after having learned through that system. And later on, I took interest in learning guitar the way you are learning. And one time I had an opportunity of being invited because I was aligned to a church as a youth, and I was brought to Limuru Conference Center when I was in class 6. And it is here I met Dr. Henry Wanjala as the teacher, giving us a lesson on theory of music. And here I was with my group, and we were singing, playing our guitars, and we looked out of the ordinary from the rest. But when we were given the first go, 5 lines and some signs written on it, we were shocked, because this is a long story. But it is after I was introduced to this, I developed curiosity about how I can write down my sounds using that system, because there before, with my brothers, we used to compose our music at night, and we encourage each other, make sure when we sleep, remember this line in the morning. I may not remember all the lines. And in the morning, we struggled. How did this music go? And it was sometimes guesswork, about 70% correct, but here is now the benefit of the theory and why we must be anchored in that theory. It is from where I have become who I am today because of having done that. The relevance of music education, the way it's been today, student, because I use it both times, is a of the thing, the music, and that is relevant whether at the school or at the university. Now, about the music industry, what do we in mind? We're talking of both, talking about music open universities.
Call me for I'm a rapper, lecturer, I'm an entrepreneur. So I wanted to ask, what are the gaps that you see in the places and in what you do? What are the gaps that this education that we are learning can really help us? What do you think are the missing gaps? Education does not give you what may be being guys, or what is not being offered. Thank you.
I was actually going to throw that to the audience, but maybe we quickly comment very briefly on the 3 comments that have been given, and then take 1 or 2, and then wrap it up. Start with Natalie.
For me, when I meet my student between 18 and 23, what I miss in the really that's what we need, because everybody's not nurtured in formal education up to university level. Unfortunately, you're always old, and my is that it's all about that.
We nursery class, there is the tendency for us to beat out the creativity and the creative part. I happen to be a parent, and I realized that my child has no art book or music book in the school that he goes to. So they have all the other subjects, but we don't allow for that space for art and for music. And I think as it's a challenge for any musician creativity cannot be taught. You have to put yourself into it. And I'd agree with her that your challenge is to actually think outside the box. Whenever you're looking at something, just take yourself out of the box and look at it when you're out of it, and imagine that there is none. And then now do your thing, because there's no set way to do what you want to do. Because you can know the rules, but how you're going to break them is different from how John Coltrane broke the rules then. John Coltrane is a jazz musician from the 50s, just in case. Yes. Education.
Music education. Pap.
I think the gap is most institutions don't train you to establish a music enterprise. So you end up finishing this course, but you can't run a studio. You don't have entrepreneurship skills. You don't have leadership skills. So most musicians don't view themselves as entrepreneurs, and they don't view themselves as leaders. So the gap is in entrepreneurial leadership. That's where the gap is. So most curriculums, also, they don't teach you in reflective ways. You need to reflect about your character, your creativity, your excellence, your stewardship. So they don't train you to reflect about yourself. And also, they're not interactive and social. So you don't get to rub shoulders with those who are at the top, but your mentor is also.
Thank you. Students who have gone through this music education at the universities and at the conservatoire and in the audience, so to ask that mission that you has helped you in the industry. If it has, tell us how. If it has, why. Very quickly, she's in glasses. Sarah is there, here, and then we can wrap it up. Sarah is there with the glasses. And please make it brief and to the point.
Anyway, hello, my name is Sarah. I am very fortunate to be a final year student in KU and a graduate of Sauti Academy, so I think I've had a little bit of help. In the first place, for me to decide to go to Sauti Academy was because there was a gap in KU. I felt like allowance me to be created. Classical music, the problem you're given a piece, it's in the key of G. You sing forte here, you sing piano here. You don't get to perhaps understand it and sing it how it affects, or rather how you interpret it. So what I was that I am. So in what system, what I like to encourage is being open-minded. I think having learned theory helps me as a singer in things like the way Natalie was saying, staying in key, keeping rhythm, doing things like that. So do not change. What we ask as artists is not for you to change the basics. We want to learn the theory. That's why we go to school, right? But at the same time, be open-minded enough to allow us to be in that space. You don't, like your guide in this is in playing classical piano, playing Taiwan, and in what I feel I'm expressing myself with. So I think what the quotation is being open-minded with it.
All right, thank you. Right here in front. Yeah.
Afternoon. My name is Eshari, and I'm privileged to be a graduate of Academy, and I've also been to Conservatoire. What I feel in my experience as I have always wanted to be a pop musician. Conservatoire helps me to, like when I have a band, and automatically I'm the band director. So of course it'll help me when they start telling me we were playing a 2 here, and I'm like, no, it was a 7, not a 1, not a 2, yeah? But when it comes to being a pop musician, I didn't find Conservatoire much of help because they focus on classical music. But that's where Sauti Academy came in. And I feel like it is more relevant to me because I want to be a pop musician. But I feel like it depends on what you want to do. Because now you wouldn't go to Natalie for classical music. You'd go to her. So that's that. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, what I feel is lacking in the industry. So I've been to Conservatoire and I've been to Penya. I've studied. And then what? How do I come from Zashari, the upcoming artist, to Zashari, the superstar? Yeah.
And I think that partly comes into what Mawira was saying in terms of the industry. There's certain components that have to happen after that, right? It's not just education and your talent. It is marketing and stuff. We are not done yet. We are not done yet. Please be thinking of your closing statements, right? 1 minute each. Last question.
I'm responding to what you asked about how music has impacted us in terms of education. My name is DJ Shock. I've been DJing for a few years. And I'll tell you that for me, music education has been the center of my DJing education, funny enough. I have not been to the Conservatoire, I've not been to Sauti Academy, but I celebrate their existence because I think it's such a tragedy that music and art have been removed from some of our schools.
I think that is where we clap.
That certainly does not make sense to me because we have more than enough. Africa is a creative continent. So to remove those subjects from the school certainly does not make sense. I have worked with John Kigada. What he has not told you is that he's a rapper as well, a very good freestyle artist. So right now he's donning his education cap for today, but he's a very good MC. And I'll say this, my background was in piano. I learned piano for most of my primary school and secondary school education. And we also had music in our school. And the way we were taught, many of the songs that are played right now are renditions of songs that we were taught about before, Bohemian Rhapsody. A lot of Will Smith stuff, Notorious B.I.G. stuff is sampled stuff that we were taught when we were in school. So for me as a DJ, I take it to my full advantage because my education is almost 360, and I still consider joining any of these institutions. It has given me an absolute advantage, and anyone who doesn't value music education, the people who do will take advantage of you, I'm sorry to say, because they know more than you. They can talk with people like Quincy Jones and all these veteran producers as peers. They will not know the industry. You're thrown into leagues like Nashville, Hollywood, for sure, if you do not have music education. That's very well in our, like Justin Bieber, Beyonce, there's Adele, there's Alicia Keys, there's Sheeran. So for people who don't value music education, I'm sorry, you and me are not on the same wavelength. It's important.
Thank you. Thank you. As you can hear, we are winding up. And so I'll let the panelists wind up with just a minute to wrap this whole session up in terms of music education and relevance, and music education in Kenya and relevance to the industry. Your final thoughts. Starting with our lawyer, Wandiri.
The lawyer, okay, yes. The conservatoire has long updated. When I look at education, you can choose to go to Riara, you can choose to go to just a school, but as a musician, you need to invest so that give you what you need. You and the third, there is that conception that classical music school. I was a BRSM, I adjust all music, and find a teacher who will teach you what you need to know.
If you can be running
program, the band, which was students class, was about the up, you know. Definitely you for what you said. We can create out the West, but that's my breath in Swahili. So look at it for this points.
Let's give a round of applause. Natalie, one from and it's possible that what education is it?
Next that you've just things are about to get nice now. You guys know him as Makade raised performers, statists, guys who know how to record. They make on CD. In music, we produce great music live on stage. For this session, your meter will be none other than Musioka, producer, us to Musioka, and then we'll dive straight into this conversation. All right?
Good afternoon, good late afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to ONGEA, East African Music Summit. And As you've heard from the introduction, we are here to talk about live sound, sound engineering, broadcast, and everything pertaining sound in production. Concerts, festivals, that. And with us, we have our panelists, composed of professionals in the festival scene and live sound and events. So, without further ado, let me introduce them from. Can start with you, Olive.
My name is Mark Adem. I'm a musician, performer. I write my own music. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Martin Muller. I'm an events specialist.
Hello, my name is Jess White. I run a music festival in Mozambique, produce concerts in Mozambique, South Africa. I run a booking agency called Akum, and I coordinate a Southern African tour circuit which composes of 5 festivals across 3 weekends.
My name is Antoine Canella, and I'm a technical director for ONGEA Entertainment.
Thank you. The main reason we are here, it's a very interesting conversation that Macadam threw to our WhatsApp group about live sound and what needs to be done to improve our production from the event side of things, because sometimes you tend to find that the standards are not the same when it comes to this concert. So let's hear what problem Macadam had, then they'll be able to tell us if there's a solution and what we can do about it and how we can improve, or what are the challenges and what are the setbacks that we experience. So Macadam, please.
Thank you very much. Basically, any artist has experienced what I've experienced. Whether you're doing live or you're doing or using playback, because sound is sound, you know. I've gone to concerts where somebody's is using playback, and they can't even hear what they're singing, you know. At that point, you can't perform because you have to hear yourself sing, even if you're lip syncing, whatever you're doing, but you have to be doing. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about East Africa. And that's 2014, 2015. I went all the way to Jinja, Kampala, Arusha, and it's very bad because sometimes it's a waste of time going for sound check. You waste your time going for sound check very early in the morning, you know, or very early. And if in a concert, or all the way to Karen, or all the way to Westlands, sound back, you're getting you hear the guitar, the drama, you know, the drama, you know. And I don't know the reason why, and that's why I brought it to the WhatsApp group. But I realized that's like most people are thinking, maybe I'm being real about that there's a sound difference between the sound check and the show that you've done, and even have or more sound. Given them a whole hour to sound check, come back and you don't even know what is going. Things I'm looking at, don't just have sound check very early, and then we come back and the sound is just horrible. It doesn't even exist. Sometimes smaller shows, festivals are a bit better. You find that you have monitors, but in the smaller concerts, some guys thinking cutting down their cost, so they don't bring monitors, not knowing that if you're a live performer, how do you even perform with the monitors? I mean, on the other end, it comes echo, and you know, whereby you actually lose your voice because it doesn't even have effects. It's totally dry, and you struggle, and all these things. So, how we sensitive to is that most organizing and bigger events in terms of the hotel, the air gets deep. Think more of the stage. It's very nice, you know, with the lights, you know, all that crap. But when it comes to the sound, it's not there. But this is what you're selling. You're selling that these guys are going to perform. I'm coming to perform. I have to put hard, clearly. You know what I mean? Guitar, if you're playing with a band, probably sometimes your guitar did not start. I've been told in recent times that we were hearing your voice in the last time. Like, really? How can we make organizers, the event organizers, realize that just like you're looking for the artist, or good transport. Per diem, you're looking for big artists so that they bring in people to hear what?
Very, very genuine and hard challenges right there from an artist. And I want to believe a lot of artists have gone through this. I myself was once an artist and was a victim of poor sound. So, and from his complaint and his discussion, I think the event organizers